So this is a 15-minute corrective exercise yoga routine for runners that you would do before going out for your run. The first pose is the Bharadvaja Pose, and we're going to get into a shin box position with the legs, the feet facing left, and we're going to put a yoga block underneath the sits bone on the left and have another yoga block or foam roller underneath the right arm on the right. You're going to put your left heel on top of that yoga block in the back so that you get a little extra internal rotation. Place your left hand on your right knee, and as you inhale, you're going to reach your left arm slightly, and as you exhale, you're going to press your right hand down slightly. You're going to keep the back of your neck long, chin tucked, and you're going to do 6 breaths, 3-second inhales, 6-second sigh exhales, and pause for a couple seconds at the end of the exhale. You want to feel that breath expand the left low back and right lung up under the collarbone on the inhale, and as you exhale and press, you want to feel the left ribs sink down. And you want to try to gently get all the air out. This pose allows you to explore some increased internal rotation on that left leg, and also helps work on some of the respiratory asymmetries that I've discussed in previous videos. Hold for 2 more breaths, inhaling gently through the nose and sighing, exhaling through the mouth. Now this next pose is going to be a 90-90 hip stretch, and we're going to add a myofascial release of the right gracilis by placing a ball on the origin of this muscle, right on the ischium. You'll know that when you feel it. It's very common, especially in runners, to have this muscle be overactive. And in this 90-90 pose with the feet going towards the right, going to turn towards that back leg and inhale through the nose and exhale, reach with the palms up. So as we're releasing the gracilis, we're also getting a stretch of the obturator internus. And just like before, we're going to hold this pose for 6 breaths, inhaling gently through the nose, sighing, exhaling, and reaching. And again, those asymmetries that have been previously discussed are why this tends to happen more on the right gracilis adductor than it does on the left, and why today we're just working on this side. And hold for 1 more breath. Next, we're going to go into the Asklepios Stretch, which is where we actually get our logo from. That's the symbol of the snake wrapping around the pole, and it is a release of what PRI calls the left AIC, right BC pattern. We're going to start in the 90-90 pose with the feet facing left, with the right hand thumb down on the pole. You're going to tuck your hips and round your low back so you feel a little stretch in the left hip. Reach the left arm through the window and create a little diamond with your thumb and the knee. Tip your head to the left and turn your chin up to the right to get a stretch of that right SCM, and then lean diagonally forward to the left. So you'll have a right SCM, right QL, and left psoas stretch all at the same time. And you're going to stay here and hold this position for 6 breaths. This releases that asymmetrical pattern that we've also discussed in previous videos. It's one very powerful stretch that will release this pattern. Hold here for 3 more breaths. Next, we're going to move into a modified downward dog that allows us to activate the triceps, obliques, and hamstrings without overstretching the hamstrings or decentrating the shoulder girdle. This also gives us a stretch of the superficial back line, which is something from Anatomy Trains by Thomas Myers. We're going to start out in quadruped with a bolster behind the heels and line up so that the knees are under the hips, hands are under the shoulders. We want to externally rotate the shoulders and push the fingertips down into the mat. Lean forward and tuck the hip so you feel the obliques. Gaze should be past the fingertips. And then press the heels down into the mat as you lift up. And hold this position for 6 breaths, inhaling through the nose, sighing, exhaling through the mouth, keeping the obliques active. You'll feel the triceps, obliques, hamstrings all working as you hold this pose. And again, shoulders are externally rotated, pressing the fingertips down into the mat. So we're increasing the fascial tension and using tensegrity. This allows us to keep our muscles engaged as we keep the rib cage stacked over the pelvis. And it's a much more organized position for the body. Coming back down, we're going to move into the next position, which is a modified mini cobra. This is stretching the superficial front line. We're going to use that bolster, placing it underneath the rib cage, at the base of the rib cage. We want to keep the low back relaxed, legs relaxed, elbows directly underneath the shoulder, forearms like they're in a sphinx pose, neck long, chin tucked. As you inhale, you want to feel your stomach press into the bolster. And as you exhale, you're going to push your stomach out against the bolster. Now for the next series of 6 breaths, as you inhale, you lift the back of your head towards the ceiling, keeping the chin tucked and slightly extending in the thoracic spine, but keeping the lumbar spine relaxed. And as you exhale, push that stomach into the bolster as you brace the abdomen. This will actually help release the diaphragm and allow you to take fuller breaths. And hold for 1 more breath. Next, we're going to go into a standing tree pose while we do a spiral line chop. The spiral line is the band of fascia that wraps around from one side of the head, opposite shoulder, and back to the same side hip. And using the band, here we're going to have the band off to the right side while standing on the left leg. Bring the arms out. Inhale, exhale, and pull from the top down to your left hip. Inhale as you bring it back up to the right. Exhale down to the hip. You want to try to maintain that standing balance. Keep your eyes on a fixed point. And you can engage short foot with this exercise. So as you inhale, you spread your toes. And as you exhale, you press the tip of your big toe down and feel the arch lift up. Going to do 6 reps, so we have 2 more. Next, we're going to do a functional line lift, which balances that out by getting that functional line across the back side of the body. So we're going to take the band now standing on our right foot, and we're going to take the band from the bottom right to the top left. And we want to feel the muscles activate across the back of the body, so across the left lat down to the right glute. Inhale as it goes down and to the right. Exhale as you pull up and to the left. And again, we're going to do this for a total of 6 reps. Try to maintain that balance. Do the short foot Spread the toes as you inhale. Push the tip of the big toe down so the arch lifts on the exhale. Keep your eyes fixed on a point on the wall. The final thing we're going to do is some single leg balance exercises with some visual vestibular exercises, starting with balancing on one leg while turning the head. As you turn your head out to the side, you're going to inhale, exhale back towards the midline, turn your head to the other side as you inhale, exhale towards midline. You're going to do this 5 times back and forth on each leg. Now you can also engage the short foot while you do this, so as you inhale, your toes spread, and as you exhale, the tip of the big toe pushes down, so you get a nice lift of the arch as you exhale. That lines up the pelvic diaphragm, the respiratory diaphragm, and the arch, so that they all lift at the same time. Repeating this on the other side. We also want to make sure that we keep the rib cage stacked over the pelvis. Try to maintain that neutral alignment as you hold this position. Again, 5 breaths on this side. Inhale as you turn your head away from midline. Exhale as your head moves towards midline. For an extra challenge, you can also do this with your eyes closed, relying more on your proprioceptive feedback. Next, we're going to do the single leg balance figure 8 tracking. So standing on one leg, you're going to bring one arm out to the side, squeeze that fist, and bring the arm of the standing leg out. And you're going to follow that with your eyes as you move it in a figure 8. You're going to inhale as it moves away from midline, exhale as it moves towards midline. While you're tracking, this is activating the brain by crossing hemispheres, activating the corpus callosum and basal ganglia. And the visual tracking here of the eyes on a fixed point is different than what you had in the previous exercise, which was more vestibular. I'm going to do this back and forth 5 times on each leg. Squeezing the hand on the arm that's extended out to the side helps with giving you a little more proprioception in space, and you may find that one leg is weaker than the other. It's a good practice to repeat this a 3rd time, so we have 1 set on one leg, 1 set on the other, and then in the 3rd set on whichever leg is weaker, just to help you balance out your body and train your weak side. As you can see, this is my weaker side. So if I was going to do a 3rd set, I'd do it while standing on my left leg. The final exercise is going to be single leg balance horizontal saccades. And saccades are when your eyes move back and forth. Now this, as you're standing on the single leg with your hands out to the side at eye height. You're going to snap and move the eyes back and forth like a pendulum. This type of activity has been shown in research to reduce fall reduction and is good at establishing a sense of peripheral space. You're going to do 20 snaps on each leg. And again, you can repeat that a third set on whichever side seems weaker. And now you are ready for your run.